as we finish the module on business development and business fundamentals. Kathy Snavely is an adjunct professor and business consultant for Harrisburg Area Community College's Institute for Entrepreneurial Studies. Say that 10 times really fast. As well as the owner of Lightkeeper Consulting in Mount Gretna. She's a recipient of Pennsylvania's Best 50 Women in Business Award, the Lebanon Valley Chamber of Commerce's Athena Award, and has been ranked among the top 100 marketing professors on Twitter. Her specialty is working with micro-enterprises in areas of business planning, marketing, meeting planning, special events, and strategic planning. Originally from Pittsburgh, Snavely loves living in Mount Gretna and publishes This Week in Mount Gretna during the summer months. She and her husband Cliff just celebrated their 28th anniversary this year and love spending time with their 10 little pirates, their great-grandchildren, to whom they are known as Papa and Gigi. Welcome and thank you so much for being here, Kathy.
Thanks for asking me.
Well, I know Kathy from Social Media Club, and I asked her if she would be interested in having this interview with me. As a small business consultant, she deals with a lot of issues that you may encounter being social media managers or business owners for the first time. But my first question for Kathy, since I know you and I feel comfortable with asking you this question, you mentioned that you have great-grandchildren, although she doesn't look like it at all. It's obvious you are not in the X or Y generation, which many would assume are the target or ideal audience for social media use. What can you say about age as it relates to social media marketing?
It's not just social media marketing, it's marketing period. And as a good marketer, you know to communicate a message that's meaningful to the people in your target audience and in the medium that your target audience likes. So some people would prefer to talk on Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn or Cloud as opposed to just sending an email or making a phone call. So as a good marketer, that's what you do. You reach people where they are.
Simple as that. Good answer. So some of the folks listening to this right now are business owners or will be business owners for the first time. What advice would you give them?
Spend a lot of time doing your market research and writing a business plan. We have a lot of people come to us at the Institute that decide they've already started their business without a business plan, and doing the planning and the implementation at the same time is really difficult. Doing a business plan, I like to go on vacation, as most people do. My husband has the very hard task of deciding where we go, and my job is doing everything else after that. So what we do is I do a whole notebook based on every day's activities, maps, everything's drawn out. So when I'm on vacation, I don't have to do anything except for look in the book and decide what to do. A business plan is exactly the same thing. It's how to get from point A to point B in the shortest distance of time possible. We recommend you spend at least 18 months researching a business plan, doing intensive marketing research. We recommend that you save 3 years of your expenses aside because you're not going to make money the first 3 years that you're in business, if you do a good job probably. And all those things together, and then manage your cash flow really well. So it's hard to pay your business bills, etc. So a lot of people they start up a business on the side, which makes it a lot easier. And as a social media manager, that's a doable task.
You bring up a really great point. I did not start with a business plan, and I actually did spin my wheels for a while. Mm-hmm. The audience will have a chance to see a sample of my business plan in this module, which I've now developed. Mm-hmm. However, at the same time, in social media, there's so much business that's out there. A lot of these folks are really going to have to build a business from start to finish in a year, as I did. So it really will be important to have that roadmap. Mm-hmm. What's a common mistake that you find most business owners make?
I actually do a workshop called the 10 most common mistakes that entrepreneurs make. Usually it's cash flow, understanding when the cash comes in, when it goes out, when you have to pay your bills as opposed to when cash goes in and out. So knowing how to negotiate with the people that are holding your bills is very important. Also knowing that just because you have a skill doesn't mean you know how to manage that skill. So there are lots of people, like in the restaurant business, which has a 75% failure rate in 4 to 5 years, that assume because they're good cooks that they can manage a restaurant. Not the same skill. There are lots of people that are excellent writers but don't know how to manage their time and being able to meet managing deadlines. So knowing yourself really, really well is extremely important. knowing how you feel about yourself and how you deal with constructive or non-constructive criticism that it comes in. Are you able to use that to motivate yourself or not? And then learning what are the tasks essentially that I need to do that no one else can do, and what are the ones that I can farm out to have other people do that I either don't enjoy doing or I'm not good at doing. So one of the things is learning that a smart entrepreneur knows when to ask for help before they're hanging off their last finger or their last fingernail on the rope.
Very, very good advice, and advice that I wish I would have known before I started a business. Tell me something that surprises people about owning a business.
People sometimes have a really romantic notion of what a business is like. They think that they can work maybe 2, 3, 4 hours a week and pull in like $1 million, $2 million or something like that in a relatively short period of time, and that's statistically improbable. So correcting that perception right away is really important.
How would you say that small business and social media are related?
They're both kind of bootstrapping in a certain respect. We're still in the early adopter stage of social media, I think, and entrepreneurs are really good at learning to do things themselves. The one danger that entrepreneurs have is that because they like doing everything themselves, they don't always concentrate on the things they're really good at doing and then farming out the stuff that they're not really good at doing or they don't want to do. So spending time on what brings in the dollars and farming out the stuff that you're not good at or you don't want to do or takes a huge amount of time and somebody that you can pay less than you should be paying yourself to do is great.
Seems practical.
Mm-hmm.
What key business-related matters would you recommend someone in social media management be particularly aware of?
Billable time would be one of those things. And I'm not going to tell you a lot on that subject because I'm probably one of the worst time managers on the face of the earth because I give way, way more of my time away than I should. But managing time is a really big deal, and it's really easy to spend hours and hours online and you look at the clock and think, oh my gosh, where did that 2 or 3 hours go? Because you have great conversations with people, you're finding new information. So being able to make sure that you manage your time appropriately is really important. And then making sure that you're not spending time, and I've never played any games on Facebook, so I have no clue what they're like, but my students tell me that once they start doing that sometime, they waste a huge amount of time doing non-productive, non-billable time, and they're not sure why that happens to them. So don't be sucked in by the fun stuff, be sucked in by the stuff that's producing income for you.
You're absolutely right. It's a habit, even of me, to still get sucked into that stuff. But I really like what you say about billable time. I meet with clients and consult with them before we begin their social media management. We need a strategy. And I find that what will take, or should take 45 minutes, ends up taking 2.5 hours. Can you guess what holds us up?
Talking about kids?
No. The technical questions.
Okay.
They want to understand every single thing about how Foursquare works and why their Facebook connects to their Twitter. How do they do that? And the technical questions, they could take, that could take forever. So one of the things that I really need to make sure I do is streamline my time with that stuff and make sure that I'm just going over the things that they need to know. And all of those questions can come at a later consult. Tell us something about being among the top 100 marketing professors on Twitter.
Now, truly, people say this, and it's not false humility on my part. It really says more about the schools that are not ranked on Twitter than it says about me being on Twitter. I'm an adjunct professor at a lovely community college in central Pennsylvania. And there are lots of places that aren't teaching social media and don't have any presence on social media. I prefer to have my students, I want you to learn, it doesn't necessarily need to be from me, but I want you to learn from a practitioner so they get a really valuable point of view of somebody that's actually doing the work that they're teaching everybody else to do. So if I'm not doing it, I have no business telling other people how to do it if I'm not doing it myself. And Twitter is my favorite medium, as you know. And the exchange of information among professionals on Twitter is part of the reason I'm there. I love the mental stimulation I get from the people that I've connected with on Twitter.
Great advice. And one of the reasons we decided to build this product was because I am a social media manager.
Mhm.
And it hasn't been around that long, but in 1 year I've kind of seen it all. So I hope that the people listening to this will be able to take the opportunity to learn from all the mistakes I made and build a business. So we're about the end of the interview here. How can the audience reach you if they would like to follow you or contact you in any way?
I'm at Prof S on Twitter. I'm Kathy Keeney Snavely on Facebook, although for my I use Facebook more for personal stuff than for business stuff. I'm just not comfortable sharing intellectual property information, a lot of it on Facebook, because it's very clear in their rules that it becomes their property once I share it. And I'm Kathy Snavely, one of many Kathy Snavely's on Twitter, but I'm the only one at Hack.
Okay.
That's Kathy Snavely on LinkedIn.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Rachel. I'm anxious to try and help your people any way I can.